Hello and welcome. You're here with me, Chatty Tumblr, and we are working through the scripted campaign. We are on mission 5, a critical role. So there's the briefing. Just look at that for a second if you want to pause it. It's early in the morning. It's another claggy day. We've got to do a reconnaissance behind enemy lines and have a look, see if they've got any aircraft at an aerodrome in Nesta. So it's just flying around, have a quick look around, and come back home again, in theory. The realism settings are as before. Let's get our aircraft set up. Fuel is locked. Get rid of those and that. Keep the paint the same. I think it's still autumn. We can tell if we have a look out the door here. If this was completely white with snow, or if there was actually snow falling, then it'd be a winter map, but it's not. So we just keep the normal paint there. And let's have a look at the map. It's a little bit bigger area. We're used to operating just near Kalinin. We've got a little bit further out to the east now. And we have these massive lake here as a nav marker, which is quite useful. And we're pretty much just following this river. So we've got Kalinin on the left. We've got this little town that we need to fly over. We'll head down towards this aerodrome, see if there's anything at this aerodrome. Then we'll turn down towards the river, have a look at this little town, and then just head back and land. I'll see you in the sky, or on the ground, however we start. Okay, it's definitely darker than normal. Okay, I didn't see the flare, but it says clear for takeoff, so let's get out of here. Some smoke ahead, so we'll use more nav. So we have all the target markers and we have the waypoints off, but I'm trying not to use them. So if we see, if for example an enemy comes in and is highlighted and I wouldn't see the actual enemy, we're just going to ignore it. Same with ground targets and waypoints, we're going to kind of ignore them. So I know I've got to get airborne, follow the river, this one here, which is going to take us over Kalinin, which we know well. We have this big bit of smoke to help us. We're just going to fly over Kalinin and we're going to follow it down towards our first waypoint. Some ground flag going on down there, but we know by now that's just AI. Here's Kalinin. We have some dots up ahead. No idea where they are. But again, if I wouldn't see them out the cockpit, then we're just going to ignore them. So come to the river, and I want to follow it down. Okay, so we have some pink dots ahead of us. We can see very little. Oh, there's some. Okay, so there's rockets going off. We would definitely spot those, and another indicator that we're on the right track is that we've got something happening. So this is something that we had to look at. I mean, they're firing at us, so that's definitely the enemy. Now, at low light like this, really difficult to see. What would really not help is if I fly into the clouds. Let's get out of the clouds and try and work out where we are again, because we've got disorientated. Okay, we've got the ground fire. Follow around. There's the river. It would be difficult to spot these guys. Explosion there helping. Ah, cool. And then they're firing again, so you would definitely have an aiming point at this time. Still like, wow, that's impressive. Look at all those rockets go up. Let's stop this if we can. Let's get a couple of them at least. Just looking at that ever so slightly darker dot there. Not sure how well this is going to show up on the video. I've got my gammas quite high, so it's not quite as dark as it probably looks. And of course, once you have a burning vehicle, you then use that as a nav point. A slightly darker dot. Okay, we'll give it one more pass and then we'll head on. Oh, this guy's firing. Let's go for the easy target. You can actually see. We are shooting, okay. Let's get around there quick. Okay, right. Find the river. So that was the first site. We've now got to head down towards. There's a little town just to the east here that we're supposed to be looking at. Somewhere around here. That's the town. From the town, we're going to follow this river until it gets to this curve, and we're just going to keep going straight past it. So our current heading is actually not bad. It's a little bit out. I mean, there's the marker there, obviously. But we're just going to use the this river. Okay, so we'll come to a junction of the river. No, we should be following the southern river here. Let's get back on track. And we've got a little bit of the river there where it kind of comes back on itself. We should be able to find that on the map. That's this bit here, this spur. So if we go over this spur and then kind of go 090, then we know that we're going to hit our target. When we get over it, we're going to go 090 and we should see our target. Don't think I got that one this time. Turning to 090. Head on out. What we can do as well is we can count the squares. We've got 4 little squares, so it's about 2 minutes on this heading. The clock's here. So at about 10:02ish, well before 10:02 we should be looking. And we have a lot of contacts down here. I'm assuming there's a convoy on the road. But I only saw them because they were highlighted with the red squares, so unless I actually see them, then we're not going to call it. Probably wouldn't have noticed those. Would have been too easy looking. Getting where I am on the map with all these little islands. Yep, it's definitely an enemy convoy. And we're looking ahead towards the enemy target. Well, look at that, it's even got its lights on. That's got to be the enemy airfield and an enemy aircraft there. Let's see if we can get it before he gets airborne. Unless he's just landing. Sure. It looks like he's landing up on the runway. And while we're doing that, we need to remember that once we finish our fight, looks like a heading of about, it tells us there 145. So after we finish our fight, 105, we'll head for the river. Against cavalry, it's airborne. Okay, so we can see a green light and a red light. The green light's always on the right hand side of an aircraft, so he's pointing towards us. So he's facing off towards that marker actually. So, oh, it's a Peshka. Let's go say hello. So I'm going to aim between the two lights because I know that they're on his wingtips. So if I aim between them, I've got to be hitting him. Let's got his landing light on as well. Aiming for those lights. Bang. He is definitely dead. Okay, so we know 145 was the heading that we wanted. So let's turn it round. Let's try not to go too high again. Get around to 145. And then we're looking for the big river in the distance, which we can see over here. So we know that that's okay. Oh, it's actually making it pretty good this time. Start planning ahead. So we know that when we hit this town on the river, we need to take our next heading, and it tells us it's going to be 290, and we're going to be flying on that heading for about 3 minutes. We're going to look ahead for this town, and then 290 for 3 minutes. Here we are approaching the river, and we're just looking for the little town on the other side of it. We make our turn. Okay, there's the town there, believe it or not. Doesn't look like much of a town, but it is. So we need to turn right to 290. And look at that, it's actually bang on, which is nice. Okay, it's been a bit quiet for a while. Makes me feel that maybe there's a gunboat in the river or something. It feels like something should happen. Okay, we had it for about 3 minutes, so we're looking on our clock, so around about 5:02 we need to be looking for our next waypoint, and that is this massive city which we should be able to see, and after that we're going to turn direct west onto 270. Off we go. Just make sure we don't fly over anything that's going to shoot at us. Okay, so we've got something ahead, but until I actually see it, rather than G to see it, then can't do anything. Right, here's that big town. So we wanted a heading of 270, and we're going to do that for a couple of minutes. So again, this looks like it's scripted to be an intercept, so we're going to get 270. Now this could be an enemy. Yeah, it looks like it is an enemy. But again, until I actually see it, I'm not going to take any action. It may be slightly easier without that massive yellow arrow in the way. Okay, we have spotted him at this point, and we'd definitely have seen that. And let's go have a look at him. So keep an eye on our on this river, because we will have to come back again. So this is going to be our waypoint. We know we're heading east again. Generation of IL2 is this. Has he got a tail gunner? Let's come in underneath him just in case. Now these things are quite difficult to shoot down. I think I was lucky. If I'd been up at cloud level on that sortie, I wouldn't have seen him. It's only because I was a little bit lower. It's relatively easy to track now. It's not shooting. Slow it down a little. We need to do a massive amount of damage in a very short space of time. Really hard to spot. We'll go down, we're never going to see him. Yeah, definitely need to get below him. So what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to shoot into his oil radiator. That's that big black box underneath him. So if I can damage his oil, he's only got a few minutes of flight left. Problem is I'm pretty much out of cannon. Yep, down to machine guns. Very irresponsible. And completely out of ammo. What an absolute waste. Chatty, you fell right for the trap there. If we get bounced now, and it's full of holes. But, right, let's work out where we are. So we're back on the river, heading 090. We don't want to be on that direction. Let's power back up. When we're heading 270. And then we can work out exactly where we wandered off to. So we've got this very thin, long causeway going across over the bridge. Let's see where that is on the map. Okay, so it's got to be here. We know we're at the causeway, and we could use the bridge line. If we follow the line of the bridge, that should take us back up this train line. It takes us pretty much near the town. So let's have a look at that. So there's the causeway. We'll turn on that causeway's heading. And we'll follow the train line back up. Now, I would imagine I'm going to get bounced because I've just wasted all of my ammo. Give me a long 20 odd miles. Let's take it home. Right, now we've broken the propellers. Pretty much the last two sorties. So let's try not to mess it up this time. Just going to bleed off a little bit of speed. Below 400. Let's drop the gear. We're now at 300, this is looking quite comfortable. Mustn't land like a 110, I need to land like a 109. So I need to be nose up. Watching my speed, I want it to go below 200. Power back up again. Now I can go down to about 160. Clear to land. Let's get that nose up. Got the power. Nose up. Pretty much stall it into landing. Hit the brakes. And we're down. Oh, now it looks like it's getting slightly clearer. Hawk, clear the runway. Okay, so it looks like we need to clear the runway on this one. Oh no, mission completed. Hit escape. Well, let's get out of here then. So, a relatively quiet sortie. We had... oh no, that was the Peshka. So we killed the Peshka that was on the ground, and we didn't get the IL2. We just wasted all of our ammo on it. But we did manage to knock out 5 rocket launchers. We have a look at the log and see how our navving was. So we flew out over Kalinin, got distracted by the rocket launchers. So I flew around there a bit, did our route, got a little bit distracted, followed the wrong river briefly until we saw the Y junction, and then went back where we were supposed to go. Then we used the spur as a nav point, shot the plane up on the runway. Then we started using the headings that it was giving us, which made things a lot easier. So 145, saw the turning point, came up this way, got distracted by the IL2, chased him around, then found the very long causeway and used that heading to get us where we wanted to go, picked up the train track, and then used the headings until we saw the base and landed. Have a look, see if there's any awards. So far we have killed 6 aircraft and 10 ground targets. And oh no actual awards, so nothing underneath yet. Okay, the next sortie, be Mission 6, the meeting committee. Sounds interesting. See you soon for that. Happy hunting and stay safe, everybody.